What up? It's Jimmy from odds.com. This is a clip from our big NCAA March Madness tournament breakdown of the East region. To check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. So the next game we are breaking down is another fun spot. And I apologize, my baby in the background looking for titty. Number 15 seed, Iona Gales. 12-5 on the season versus number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide, 24-6. We're at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Ooh-wee. I love when Max talks about Pitino. Alabama, 17.5-point favorites, and it's dropping. We see 17s on the board, 16.5s on the board. This total opened up at 144, and it is climbing. The highest of totals is at Sports Interaction. That's licensed in Jersey and in Canada at 148. Then we have 147.5s, a couple other 148s. That's where we stand market-wide. Pitino's Iona Gales won 6 straight games to close out the season, culminating in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference title. In the final, Iona defeated Fairfield behind Asante Gist's 18 points, and Pitino took his record-tying 5th school to the NCAA tourney. It was not easy for him. He got coronavirus. The Gales were forced to stop 4 times this year because of virus issues, and one of them was a 51-day hiatus, sidelined them longer than any team in the country. So we don't really know how good this team could be. Isaiah Ross leads it, averaging 18.4 points per game. Next is Gist, who's dealing with a lower body injury. He's listed as questionable for Saturday's game. We expect him to play from what I've read, but he's listed as questionable, averaging 13.3 points per game. Rounding out the double-digit scores, 6'9" Nigerian freshman Nelly Jr. Joseph, who averages 11.4 points, 7.6 boards. The Gales score 72.2 points per game, turn the ball over too much at 15.6 a game, hit 44.5% from the field, 35.5% from 3, and 74.3 from the stripe. Alabama got better and better as the season went on. They finished the season off with their 16th straight victory. Sixth. With their 6th straight victory in the SEC Championship, 80-79 over LSU. They hadn't made it to the SEC Championship since 2002. Winners of the football championship and the basketball championship in the SEC. Herbert Jones, both the SEC Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, finished with 13 points, 11 boards. On the season, he averaged 11.2 points, 6.5 boards, 3.4 assists. Leading scorer Jaden Shackelford led Alabama with 21 points. On the season, he averaged 14.2 points. Javon Quinterly scored 14 in that final game. He averaged 12.7 on the season. The run to the championship didn't come without consequences. They lost guard Joshua Primo to a knee injury. Keon Ellis came in and looked very good. He scored 14 points in that final. Alabama scores 79.6 points per game, hits 43.1% from the field, 35.1% from 3, and 72% from the foul line. Here we go, Max. Iona, Alabama, 15 seed, 2 seed. Can't wait to hear this breakdown.
Listen, Jim, I'm going to start this off by saying I know some inside information. I know this stripper that used to work at For Your Eyes Only, which is no longer open, which is sad.
Yeah.
And her name is Mandy, the doctor stripper. So Dr. Mandy told me that the quality of sex workers that Coach Pitino has been producing for his Iona Gales have been what I would call 3-star. And I think that it's a mistake to dumb down the quality, lower that quality in such an important situation. Fluids need to be extracted, and you can't have the buildup in the frickin' pipes. So I think that Iona definitely is going to be challenged early. I think that even though they have this very successful pick-and-roll offense that predicates itself on definitely getting Asante Gist and Isaiah Ross the ball in good spots, well, I think that the roller in Nelly Jr. Joseph is going to be even more important, even Dylan Van Eck. So I think that with Iona, they do like to apply a lot of ball pressure, but with that ball pressure, they definitely want to be able to switch as well. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Alabama. I don't think they're going to be able to overplay the offensive glass against a team that is so good in transition. Listen, in the MAC conference, the Metro Atlantic, yeah, you're able to do that. You're able to do that against teams that don't run well and don't run on you. Well, Alabama's not that type of team. And if you try and do what's been so successful on offense and on defense, I just don't think you're going to be successful against Alabama. Listen, Alabama needs to hit threes. They are definitely at best when they can drive and kick and hit those threes. But if you've been watching John Petty, the guy just has not been doing his job when it comes to it. He's been more of a liability. Every time that I see him shoot the basketball, I'm like, yeah, if he's going to shoot the ball a lot, I'm getting on live unders. I'm hitting live unders. Well, I think that John Petty's going to keep on shooting the basketball, and I just don't have faith in him being able to hit threes. I think that while Alabama is going to still drive and kick a lot, those drives are going to turn into layups because with Javon Quinterly and his handle, that's a dangerous guy to be messing with. We're seeing why he was so highly touted coming into the D1 level, and I think that he's got to have a big game for Alabama, and he's going to. I think that with Alabama, Herb Jones is the key piece. We saw a lot of ISO, a lot of freaking ball screens, a lot of clear outs for him, and I think we're going to continue to see that. This Alabama team just has to be able to defend without needing that help defender to come over. They got to harass the ball handlers for Iona because they are sturdy with the ball, and they got to limit their fouls. With Alabama, you also got to limit the post touches that Iona's going to try to get Nelly Jr. Joseph. You got to stop the driving of Berg Jean-Louis. And, of course, with Ross, it's just a matter of can you go over screens without fouling. I'm interested to see how these guys go up. I think that the first half defense is going to be key. It's going to tell you a lot. I think that Alabama is going to be in their best situation if they can get up close to 40 and hold Iona to like 32 to 35. And you got to just continue this streak of making good second half adjustments and coming out with fury that first 3 to 4 minutes of the second half. Alabama's done a fantastic job of doing that. And I just want to see also how much Iona's defensive numbers are going to rise when they're playing an opponent with the quality and offensive abilities of Alabama. I think that Alabama is going to win this game. I think Alabama is going to be able to win this game early. I just don't see Iona being able to stay in it, even if they're hitting shots for a while. I think eventually they wear down and you see that depth get tested, and that's Iona's biggest hurdle in this game, if they start to pick up fouls. So it's a bad matchup, in my opinion. I think that Nate Oates is going to wear that really sharp, snazzy Crimson Tide sports coat, and Alabama's going to win the game. What I'm going to do as far as my show pick is I'm going to go against the number. I think that with this total, I'm looking more at Alabama. So when I look at my lines, Jim, and I'm just pulling them up, I have this game lined at 145.5. So I'm going to take the under in the game. I think that Iona, while on paper they should be able to score against Alabama's defense, what have I said over and over again? What does Alabama want to be? The best defensive team in the nation. What were they not in the SEC championship? The best defensive team in the nation. They let up 79 points. I don't think that Iona is getting anywhere close to that. So it just screams to me route under. But I like the under for number value better, and that's what we're going to make an official show pick.
Well, let's see if we can get you some nice here to work with. We have a 147.5 under at minus 105. We have 146.5. That's not what we're looking for. Let's see if Circa can come in and help us. 148.5. Wow, 2 points higher at Circa. Wild. 148.5. And let's see if FoxBet wants anything to do. 147.5. Wow, under 148.5 at minus 110 for you, Max?
Yeah, that works for me fine, Jim. It's a much better number than I bet.
Under 148.5 minus 110 at Circa Sports. Wow, that was fascinating.